Hey, and again with you the world of Blenderizm. Finally we have moved on to my favorite part of the projects, this is coloring the objects. Because at this moment they become beautiful, or more precisely, even more beautiful than they were before. Now you can see the cycle's render settings, that I used to set up the scene. These are not the final settings for the render, I will change them at the end. To speed up the work, I unchecked the reflective boxes. In the color settings, I set the view transform to filmic, and look I set to high contrast. Since I have already downloaded and connected the HDRI card for lighting and do not want to overload the scene, in the film tab I checked the transparent box, so that the background is transparent. I also checked the render region and crop to render region boxes, so that only the image that the camera sees is processed. Next, in the Layers tab, I check the boxes next to all these layers that you see. And uncheck the box next to Combien. This gives me the opportunity to disassemble the future image into layers and denoise each one separately. Since I will be using a super powerful noise reducer in compositing. And also in the World Settings tab we go to the Settings tab and change the sampling type from auto to manual. This greatly speeds up the rendering process. Well, now, with a clear conscience, we can easily start creating materials. I suggest starting with the windshield. Add a material and immediately give it a name, although we will not have so many materials, but still in order not to get confused, I strongly recommend giving them names. Now let's move the principal BSDF node a little and add a mix shader between them. Add a light path node. Add a math node and change it to a greater than type. With its help, we will control the amount of light passing through the glass. Set it to 6.5 thousand. Connect ray depth into value and connect math to the factor. Add a transparent node and connect it to the second slot. Now we set the roughness to 0.055 and transmission set to 1. And this is the glass we get, but to give it more realism I like to add a slightly greenish yellow tint. Okay, now I suggest making glass on the side of the headlight. Find the windshield material we just made in the list and copy it. Since we need a new system that we used there, but we will change it, and in order not to spoil the windshield material, we copied it. Change the name to retraced. Now I add the image texture and press Ctrl T. For this the Wrangler add-on must be enabled. Quickly add the texture coordinates and mapping. Add normal map and connect as you can see on the screen. Also find the image of the normal map, which should be prepared in advance. These can be easily found in Google, or I will add it to the description in the references. It is very important to change color space to non-color. Now, as you can see, the stripes go horizontally. You need to change the rotation value along the Z-axis to 90 degrees. And everything becomes as we need. Next, we change the strength of the normal map to 0.1. Let's check if everything is okay, admire how beautiful it looks for a while. And now we can proceed to the rest of this headlight. Let's hide the glass for now so that it doesn't get in the way. And let's start painting the parts in chrome. Rename the material. The chrome material is very simple. Remove the principal BSDF and add glossy BSDF instead. Set the width to a very low value and that's it. Chrome is ready. Now the chrome material can be added to the frame that goes around and gives the glass visual thickness. Next in line we have glass, which is installed inside the headlight. Well, here everything is simple. We copy the material of the outer glass, and in order for it to work, you need to select all faces in edit mode and click unwrap. I forgot to say this when creating the outer glass, and sorry for that. And again we hide this glass so that it does not interfere and give the chrome material to the diffuser inside the headlight. Next we have a light bulb. I suggest starting with glass. Add a new material and rename it. I delete the principal BSDF and instead add a layer weight node, a transparent node and a glossy BSDF node. In order to combine all this we need a mix shader. Remove the roughness to 0. And this is the glass material we get. And so we need to paint the rest of the bulb elements. For this we will hide the bulb glass so that it doesn't get in the way. In principle, there is nothing complicated here. I want to paint it glossy, only a little darker, so that I have two types of gloss. Add a new material, rename it, set roughness to 0.034, and make the color slightly grayish. Now this material can be applied to the rest of the bulb elements except for the filament spring, since it should glow. So for this we add a new material. Go to the emission tab. I set the light power to 800 watts, and choose yellow for the color for now. Then, when I set up the scene for rendering, I will do this more accurately. Don't forget to change the name of the material. And for now this is how our headlight looks. In my opinion it is quite realistic, only the light power is not enough, I just don't want to adjust it 50 times. And now we come to a very cool moment. I want to use my library of assets. And append to the scene my collection of car paints. In this collection there are 14 of them so far. They are all different and of different types. So if someone is interested and wants to buy it, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description and thus support me as an author and become a happy owner of a collection of car paints. In this case I used the paint that was used on the Rolls-Royce, I think it is the most suitable here. Now let's paint the elements in the front of the car. Here, basically everything will be in chrome. In edit mode, I select the part of the body that will be chromed and in which the grid is installed. I add another material to the body and assign the chrome material to these faces. Now I paint the Mercedes logo, also in chrome. And so on all the elements that will be in chrome, let's paint them right away. This list includes the headlight housings, the mounting strip on which the headlights are located, the round element inside the headlight that adds thickness to the glass, signal horns, fastening of the signal horns, bolts and mouldings. I don't think I missed anything. This is how it is done on the cars in the video references that I use. In general, I like it, so I copy it. If something happens, there is always the opportunity to fix it. If you want you can use combination Ctrl-L to link materials, choose elements that you want to paint and the last one which material you want to apply. Now I want to show you how I made a stylized glass on the headlights. Copy the windshield material and call it something else. Next, go to the editing mode and we need to add something to the nodes already in the system, so make room for another mix shader. Add the image texture and press Ctrl-T to add the texture coordinates and mapping. The texture coordinates need to be connected to the upper slot so that the Mercedes logo that we will now overlay is on top of the glass. Now find the previously prepared PNG file of the logo, don't forget to unwrap the faces. In the texture settings, change repeat to clip. Next, go to the UV editing tab. And change the size of the faces so that they fit the logo. And now we have a magnificent logo on the glass. Hey, let's move on. I choose the glass of the central headlight and give it the material of the ready-made glass with vertical stripes, diffusers. But in order for it to work, you need to unwrap it. And here you go, the glass is ready. Further, on the diffusers around the bulb, the chrome material is already installed, but I want to change it to the chrome material with diffusers. Since in theory they will be visible, and such little things add realism. And we repeat all this on the other headlights. Next we move on to small gabarite lights. First we give it the chrome material. Then we need to select those faces, where there will be glass. Using the W button we switch to the selection mode with a circle around the mouse pointer. Then we add a new material to the element, do not forget to rename it. We delete the principal BSDF and now we connect the following nodes in turn. First, the mix shader. Then we connect layer weight as a factor to it, then transparent and glossy. And we set up the desired shade of red. I will also add a light bulb inside and it will be good. I missed to set up roughness to 0. Well, that's it, a small detail from a large car is painted. Now we move on to the hood of the car. First, you need to apply the main paint, the same as on the body, called Rolls-Royce. At this point, let's go back a little for 5 seconds. I missed painting 2 grills in front of the car, so we'll quickly apply the chrome material to them. And so now we can confidently start painting the wheels. First, I want to create a rubber material. It will be quite simple and at the same time very realistic. Therefore, we create a new material and add a noise texture, then add a normal map. Connect it all and change the color to a fairly dark one, set the strength on the normal map to 0.5, set the roughness to 0.8, set the scale of the noise texture to 400, set the details to 5, and also set the distortion to 5. That's it, this is how it will look. Now let's paint the next element, this is the wheel rim. In edit mode using the L button we select the elements, one by one, from which the disc was created. Now add a new material and it will also be chrome, but a little darker, slightly. We need to add glossy node. And roughness we set to 0.1. Then in the same way we select the spokes and assign them the same material, let's call it dark chrome. Next we select the center of the wheel and also give it the dark chrome material. And do not forget about the logo that is in the center of the wheel. For now I will also apply this material to it, then we will see how it will be. Maybe I will make it lighter. And so, our wheel now looks like this, but we are not finished yet. And so our wheel now looks like this, but we are not finished yet. My actions are not always logical and consistent, but there was a reason for that, just take the video as it is. I still try to make everything clear to you. It is necessary to paint the molding in chrome, the door must be painted in the color of the body, the door hinges and the handle on the doors are also painted in chrome. And do not forget about the moldings on the door sill, where the human foot steps. Now you can quickly move on to the rear of the car. Here, by and large, everything is also painted in chrome, the side molding, the bumper mount, the handles on the trunk, the base and mount of the taillight. Then we paint the trunk in the color of the body. Well, since I have already accelerated so much, then let's also paint the moldings around the interior, the handles in the interior, the molding on the dashboard, we paint all this in chrome. I realized why I accelerated so much, I wanted to paint more of the same type of parts. Let's slow down a little, painting everything in a row in chrome. I suggest making a taillight. Press / to enter the isolation mode. Now in the editing mode, with the Alt button pressed, select the face that we want to paint in transparent red glass. Select 2 face loops, then press the Ctrl+ combination until we select a sufficient number of faces. You may have to adjust the selections a little. And when we are ready, add a new material and assign this face the material of the red sidelight. Do not forget to press the Assign button. Then select the central face and press Ctrl+ until we select a sufficient number of faces in the center and assign this red material again. Now you can work on the oblong rear light. First, let's paint the Mercedes logo in chrome. Now I give the material of the red sidelights to the 2 left round glasses on the headlight. And the 3rd round glass is the reversing light. It should be white, but slightly cloudy. Therefore, we first select the glass material from the bulb. Copy it and name it differently. And now it needs to be slightly modified. Add another mix shader to which we connect the diffuse BSDF node from below. And now use the slider on the mix shader to adjust the desired result. 0.285 suited me. And now I want to show you how to make an uneven surface effect on chrome for light scattering. Editing, select the faces to which we want to apply this effect. Find the chrome material, copy it and name it reflective. Add the image texture, press Ctrl+T to add texture coordinates and mapping. Now add the normal map, connect, that's all. And in the image texture, find the normal map. You can download it from Google. It looks like this. I will add it to the description in the references. Set the normal map strength to 0.4. Do not forget to press Unwrap. And now you can assign this material. In the image texture, you need to set color space to non-color. This is very important, do not miss it. It remains to add the value node and set the scale. This makes it easier to control the scale. I don't know about you, but I like this effect. Maybe the glass will seem too transparent to someone. Then in the editing mode you can select all the vertices and extrude them, thus doubling the thickness of the glass. As I said, the secret of a good model is in the details. So let's paint the valve cover on the wheel. In edit mode, select the topmost central face and press Ctrl+ until you select enough faces. When we are ready, then add another material to the wheel, where we make it black and increase the roughness. And now we return to the wheel. I want to add another color to it, red. To do this, select the 2 central face loops with Alt pressed. And press Ctrl+ to select the desired amount. Now we add another material to the wheel, find the chrome material, copy it and rename it. Change color to red. Now we press Assign. Then select the central faces and apply this material to them. For some reason, my logo also got colored. I need to return it to its original chrome color again. Haha, am I the only one who thinks that my wheel looks like Captain America's shield? They are also approximately the same age. Another element of the wheel that I want to paint is the side of the rubber. In edit mode with Alt pressed, select the 2 central face loops relative to which I want to expand the selection. And press Ctrl+ until we select the faces that we need. Now add another material to the face and find the black tire material in the list. Copy it and rename it. Now all that remains is for us to replace the color with white and assign this material. Well, not bad at all, I think. Take a look from this angle, looks pretty good. And so if someone thought that chrome is not enough, then we can add a little more from this side. Haha. Select the Mercedes logo, select the grills, select the pipes that go to the middle of the car. In theory, this is the exhaust pipe. And I paint them in, what do you think? Guess the first time. Correctly, in chrome. If you look from this side, the car already takes on some kind of look. So good, now you need to paint a straight strip on the hood. In edit mode, as before, select the two central ones along the entire length of the hood, then press Ctrl+ until you select a sufficient number of faces. And assign the chrome material to these faces. And also we need to add chrome material to windshield frame. And then we move on to creating a material for the sofa. It will be leather. Add a new material in the shader and start adding nodes. First, add the Voronoi texture. Then add two color ramps and connect them to the distance. In the upper color ramp, connect to base color, and connect the lower one to roughness and to normal. In order for normal to work, you need to add bump. F1 change to distance to edge, and set the scale to 400, and we get this as the result. Now, strength on a bump node, set it to 0.2. In the lower color ramp, make the left slider light gray, and move the right one almost to the middle. Now it is necessary to set the color of the material. I want it to be light brown and a little darker in color. Okay, now we add the texture coordinates and add mapping. Add a mix color and set it to linear light. Next, add the noise texture and set the scale on it to a fairly high value, for me it is 600. If you connect it directly, you should get this result. And after we connect the nodes in the correct order, then we can control the result of the impact with the mix color factor. The result of 0.006 suited me. I will correct the color a little more, since the skin should be light, and in the general plan the node system looks like this. Okay, now that the material is ready, you can apply it to all the elements in the car interior, that will be leather. With the Shift key pressed, select and press Ctrl-L to link the materials. I want the floor mats in the car to be a little darker. Therefore, you need to copy the material and adjust the shade of brown in the color ramp. Here, on the door, I have an unpainted element, there will be a molding here, so we select the faces that belong to it and paint it in chrome. At the same time, we will paint some of the elements on the dashboard in chrome. And so we can move on to the door handle. Its main material is chrome, but it is necessary to add black plastic elements. The plug should be black. The knob, the transitions between the elements. The plastic material is very simple, ordinary principle BSDF, and we adjust the roughness. Next, we can move on to the pedals. The first material we set is chrome, to paint the pedal lever. Next, select the front faces and press Ctrl until you select the number of faces you need and assign the plastic material to this pedal element. Now comes the interesting part. Select the front faces, find the plastic material, copy it and rename it. Now add the wave texture to the shader and press Ctrl T to immediately add the texture coordinates and mapping. Don't forget that Add-in Wrangler must be enabled for this. Add a bump and connect it to the height and to normal. Now that we have assigned the material, we need to make sure that we apply the scale and in mapping rotate the texture along the Z-axis by 90 degrees. Adjust the roughness and copy the pedals. I assigned the rubber material on the wheel to the plug cubes. Next, I suggest we deal with the mirror. We assign chrome as the main material. And we only need to add black plastic elements for the mirror body and for mounting one. For ease of selecting faces, I usually use a round mouse pointer. To quickly switch between modes, you can press the W button. At the next stage we proceed to a more complex material of the steering wheel. I thought it would be cool to make it out of bone. Let's not wonder who it belonged to. And so in the shader we create a new material. We connect the noise texture and color ramp to the base color. We immediately copy the color ramp and also connect it to the noise texture. On the first color ramp we change the color of the second slider to light gray and shift it a little to the center. We connect the roughness of the second color ramp and in normal using the bump node. We can immediately set the strength to 0.1. We change the color on the color ramp sliders and shift the left one to the center. We set the scale of the noise texture to 35. And now we see a problem. This happens because the bump node is connected to normal automatically, you need to change it to height. I set the roughness of the noise texture to 1. And here is such a cool result we get, but that's not all. We can improve it. We add the geometry node and the node color ramp. For clarity of what is happening, we need to connect them directly. In simple words, we create a material shading map. We set the runners as you see on the screen, but the problem is that we need to turn the normals in the other direction, then everything will work clearly. And we just need to connect all this, add a mix shader and add the principal BSDF which we will set the shading color. The map that we created is connected as a factor and we connect two principal BSDF. And here is such a cool result we get. I don't know about you, but I really like it. Next, the central parts of the steering wheel need to be painted chrome. The round element on the steering wheel, this is supposedly a sound signal, is also painted chrome. The Mercedes triangle is also painted in chrome. And I want to make a contour around this Mercedes logo. Therefore, We select the faces with the Alt key pressed and press Ctrl+ until we select the desired number. To this faces I give the material of the black plastic. The background on which the Mercedes logo will be located I want to paint in red chrome. Next, I want to work a little on the car floor mats. I want to place the Mercedes logo on them. To do this, press / to go into isolation mode and make it easier for us to work. I will delete the mirror modifier. Next, in order to make unwrap, you need to designate at least one seam. Therefore, in edit mode, select the edge loop and assign it as a seam. Then select everything and press unwrap. Now go to the shader. Add a mix shader. Add an image texture and press Ctrl+T. Connect the image to the upper slot. Find the prepared logo. It looks like this. And now you need to place it correctly on the mat. To do this, select the 3 upper faces and go to the UV editing tab. So here you need to align the vertices along the X-axis. And along the Y-axis, we will adjust by eye. Place the faces opposite the logo. We stretch along the Y-axis, but as you can see, our logo is repeated, so we need to go back to shading, and in the image texture node, change repeat to clip. And thus it will be used once. Now we just need to customize the appearance of the logo, stretch the faces along the X and Y axis to the desired size. When I do this, I select everything and the remaining faces of the mats need to be placed in those places where there is no logo. Now we copy the mat to the passenger seat and we need to rotate the logo. We return to UV editing, select the faces on which the logo is located, and mirror them along the X-axis. In order to complete the work on the mats, I want to add a few more edge loops, so as to give a certain shape to the mat, more rounded near the door and more rectangular towards the center of the car. We worked a little with the topology and we got this result. We make sure that everything is fine and move on. Now I want to show you a little bit what other elements I have made here. I have placed Mercedes logos on the back of the sofa and I have applied dark leather material to them. I have placed the Mercedes logo behind the glass. I have painted the signal lights in chrome and the glass in red, dark blue and blue. I have painted the buttons in the color of chrome and bone like on the steering wheel. The levers at the bottom are also made of chrome and bone. I also want to show you how I made a mahogany element on the dashboard. In the reference it is metallic, and it seems to me that we have enough shiny metallic parts. So, in the shader, we add a new material. Add the color ramp and bump nodes, connect them to base color and normal. We can immediately set the strength to approximately 0.075. Add a noise texture, press Ctrl+T and connect to color ramp. Now you can set the black color to pull it a little toward the center, and on the other side, set the dark red color. Set the scale to 12, and the details to 5. Next, you need to stretch the texture along the Y-axis in mapping. And so we add mix color after the noise texture, since I also want to add a wave texture. switch its mode to rings. There we set it to 2, and set the distortion to almost 40. Now, using the factor on mix color, we set the result we need. The value of 0.130 suited me. Here you can say the main general settings, then you can try to twist any value on the textures and achieve the desired or suitable result. In order to achieve the effect of varnishing, I lower the roughness and set the weight of the coat at 0.323. Perhaps I will leave it like this, since I do not want to make large waves in the texture. And immediately move on to the devices. I will have chrome frames around the circle and I will copy the glass material on the devices from the windshield. And one more thing I want to show you, how to place the measuring instruments on the dashboard. The trick is that if you just put them on the mesh circle they will be quite flat and it looks very bad. I have already checked. And as you can see in the center of the instruments there is a recess. Therefore, using Boolean operations I cut out circles in the wooden element and in the dashboard, so that there was somewhere to pull. So we do unwrap and add image texture to mesh. That looks like this. Then we go UV editing tab and place faces the way we need. And there is one more thing. As you may have noticed, there are no arrows on the images. This is because no matter how hard you try, when you place an image on mesh, it bends. I deleted it in Photoshop. Create an arrow from the cube. This is where this episode ends. I hope you found something useful for yourself. Don't forget to check your subscription, like and comment. And as always, learn hotkeys, they will make your life easier. Take your time, try different settings, and pray for Ukraine. Thank you, bye.